Good evening, everyone. This is Mayor Nick Helmer at our regular meeting with the council president and others. It looks like we're ready to go. Karen, can you handle the preamble, please?
Sure. Thank you, Mayor. Good evening, everyone. Pursuant to the governor's executive orders, the governor has made disaster declaration in response to COVID-19. In accordance with 5 ILCS 127E, the head of the public body has determined that an in-person meeting of all the individual council members under the Open Meetings Act is not practical or prudent. The Chief Administrative Officer, Joe Wade, will attend in person. The council and members of the public may continue to attend the meeting virtually via Zoom as attendance in the boardroom is not feasible. In accordance with the applicable statutes of the state of Illinois and the ordinance of the city of Prospect Heights, notice is hereby given that the City Council Workshop Teleconference meeting of Mayor and the City Council of the City of Prospect Heights is being held on Monday, December 14, 2020 at 6:30 p.m. Mayor Nicholas J. Helmer presiding. This meeting will be recorded and available on the city's website. Attendees who wish to speak on agenda or non-agenda items will be provided an opportunity during the teleconference. There is a 5-minute time limit for speakers, during which teleconference meeting it is anticipated there will be discussion and consideration of, and if so determined, action upon the matters contained in the following.
All right, thank you. Let's determine if we have a quorum or not. So let's call the meeting to order and let's see where we're at. We've got the following. I'm told we got the following elected officials present. Michelle Cameron, Ward 1. Kathleen, please acknowledge your name just by saying correct. Kathleen Quinn,
here.
Ward 2. Wendy Morgan Adams, Ward 3.
Here.
Matt Dolick, Ward 5.
Here.
And we have a vacancy in Ward 4. So given all that, we want to start the meeting. Motion, please, to start the meeting. It's just easier on me. Motion to approve and start the meeting.
Mayor, I think the first thing up is the approval of the minutes.
Well, I'm not there yet. I just want to make sure we've got our elected officials all in hand. So they just reported in and acknowledged that they were there. We have a quorum based on the fact that we need 3 for a quorum. We have 4. And let's go ahead with your suggestion.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes as presented.
Second, Morgan Adams.
All right, what's the date of those meetings, please?
November 23rd, regular teleconference city council meeting minutes, and October 26, 2020, regular teleconference executive session minutes.
All right, so those are the meetings you're approving. We have a motion to approve. Did we get a second? I believe we did.
Yes, Wendy.
Yes.
Oh, Wendy.
The mixer seems to.
We need a roll.
All right, thank you. Well, roll call, please.
Yes. Alderman Dolick,
Aye.
Alderman Morgan Adams,
Aye.
Alderman Quinn,
Aye.
Alderman Cameron.
I'm assuming this is switched to the right thing.
Alderman Cameron. She might have her mute on.
I'm sorry, I'm unmuted now. Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you. So the motion passes 4-0. The other officials that are present, to my knowledge, Finance Director Sherry Grafton. Sherry, are you present?
I'm present, Mr. Mayor. Yes.
Okay, Assistant Finance Director Bob Tannehill.
I'm here, Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you. You are, Bob, I believe, you will be introducing the auditor, Chase Blasey. and
Chase
City
Blazer, yes.
Wade. Those people, I presume, I heard, and they are present. Also, it would be good to note people also attending. Assistant City Administrator Peter Falcone,
I'm here, sir.
Police Chief Jim Zalaki,
I'm out here, Mayor.
good, thank you. Development Director of Building Development Peterson.
I'm here, Mayor. Thank you very much.
Of course, his name is Dan, so thank you. Deputy Clerk Schultheis,
Here, Mayor.
thank you. Digital Communication Technician Pat Colvin,
I'm here.
our attorney John O'Driscoll,
Yes, Mayor.
Public Works Director Mark Roscoe.
Yes, sir. Nice to see you.
All right. That's interesting. Thanks for the comment. Okay, where are we at? Joe, you
Rich
want
Tibbits also here.
somebody turn their mute on when someone else is talking? Tibbits, you weren't on my list, but I'm glad you're there because the last time I introduced you first. Let's move on with, oh, there you are, City Treasurer. And myself, Mayor Alderman himself. So I think we have them all, and let's go ahead with the meeting. Joe, what's going on?
Good evening, Mr. Mayor. Our first item is, as referenced, we have the approval of minutes from the November 23rd meeting. And if we will entertain any corrections or additions, and if not, we will entertain a motion to approve.
Joe, we've already done the minutes.
I'm sorry, we're out, okay. Then we're at appointments. Recognition of retiring police records supervisor Margie Bolger. Jim?
Okay, Mayor and Councilman Joe, I think I can take over from here. I'm not sure if Margie's out there. Told her to dial in. Normally we do these at the council meetings. It's all the COVID. We are not doing them in person, so hopefully Margie's out there. Are you out there, Margie?
I'm here, Jim.
Okay.
Good,
All right,
well,
before I read the pardon me?
go ahead.
All right. Before I read the proclamation, I just want to, on behalf of the police department, would like to wish Margie a happy retirement after spending 25 years with the city. She did an exceptional job keeping up to date with all the laws and mandates for records keeping, which is always constantly changing. But, you know, Margie was always kept up to date with that, and also keeping the front office area running smoothly. Margie would be one of the faces you'd see as you entered the police station. You would see Margie for 25 years. She was behind that front glass and did an exceptional job out there for us. So she will be greatly missed, you know, for all her hard work and also for all the treats and cookies she would spend. Around this time every year, Margie would always take a week off. She goes, "Chief, gonna have the week off." She'd take the week off. When she would come back, there would be dozens and dozens of, she'd bake probably 10, 12, 15 different types of cookies, and she would bring them to all of us. So of course, I'd always give her the time off at this time of year. So I will definitely miss that up front, but it's well deserved. She can now spend more time with her husband, Brian, and her 2 children and her 2 grandchildren, who she really enjoys taking care of. So I'll read the proclamation. A proclamation in honor of the exceptional public service contributions by Record Supervisor Margie Bolger to the city of Prospect Heights. Whereas the men and women who devote their time and energy to the profession of law enforcement have assumed the responsibilities to serve their fellow citizens. Whereas Margie Bolger has devoted to public service in the city of Prospect Heights since her employment on October 19th, 1995, and has been an exceptional record supervisor. And whereas Margie Bolger was constantly keeping up to date with their ever-changing laws and mandates of the state of Illinois for record keeping. And whereas Margie Bolger is dedicated, hardworking law enforcement professional who during the tenure of the Prospect Heights has also volunteered her time to the city, the Prospect Heights community with the youth outreach program and our community food drives. Whereas Margie Bolger has also spent hundreds and hundreds of hours these past couple years assisting Northwest Central Dispatch with the new conversion over to a new CAD system, which Margie spent a lot of time, and the Northwest Central greatly appreciated her doing that. And also, whereas Margie Bolger was the Employee of the Year for City of Prospect Heights in 2005 and 2017 for going above and beyond her job. And whereas Margie Bolger has served the citizens of Prospect Heights, is now retiring, bringing to a close a career with the Prospect Heights Police Department that has spanned 25 years. The City of Prospect Heights wishes to honor Margie Bolger for her contributions to the community and thank her for her dedication to the City of Prospect Heights. Now, therefore, be it resolved that I, Nicholas J. Helmer, Mayor of the City of Prospect Heights, Illinois, acknowledge and commend the contributions that Margie Bolger has made to the staff and council and citizens of Prospect Heights and the greater community as a whole during her successful tenure of service to the city as record supervisor with the City of Prospect Heights, and thank her for committed service to the community. This will be dated effective December 21st, 2020. Congratulations, Margie. Thanks.
Wow, that's really great. You know, the best thing I can remember or will remember about Margie is her smile. She was always smiling when she said hello, came over to City Hall, and that's a wonderful talent, because sometimes it's pretty hard to smile when you have some of those jobs that you just mentioned that she has performed for us. So Margie, if you're listening, even if you're not, be known that you are a star. And I mean that literally also. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Let's move on. I've got two appointments to recommend, two reappointments actually. The first for the Planning and Zoning Board of Danielle Dash, the chairperson. She's due to be reappointed, and she has asked to do that. And hereby, with this notice, we will reappoint her, presuming the council accepts, and I'm sure they will. We also, for the same situation, have the reappointment of Scott DeGraff to the Planning and Zoning Board of Appeals. So thank you for service that you've given and you will give, and we always had a good time talking. Unfortunately, about the good old days, but it probably won't be much for this year. So congratulations, keep your service going. We really are pleased with what you do and what you've done. Thank you. So we need an appointment. I have the recommendation. We need a vote on the appointment. Let's start with Danielle Dash.
So moved in disappointment.
Second.
All right, we have a motion, we have a second. What's left? No further comments. We can take the roll call.
Alderman Morgan Adams.
Aye.
Alderman Dolick.
Aye.
Alderman Cameron.
Aye.
Alderman Quinn.
No.
All right, so we have a 3-2. We have a quorum representation, and we have approved by a vote of 3-0, 3 for and 1 against for Danielle Dash. Moving on for Scott DeGraff.
Mayor.
Yes.
This is Jim real quick. Margie Margie was still out there. She wanted to know if she could say a few things. So Margie, are you out there? Could you give her a few minutes?
Can we hold off? Jim, let's do the second appointment, and then we'll ask for that.
Okay, thank you.
For the reappointment of Scott DeGraff, he's a true servant. He doesn't complain. He gets the job done. That's a real asset and has been for a long time to the city of Prospect Heights. Congratulations, presuming you get the vote, Scott. So here we go. Motion to approve Scott DeGrasse appointment to the
Planning and zoning board.
I just lost my page. Okay. For the
So moved.
Second.
This is for the PCBA. You got a motion, you got a second. Motion is by Alderman Dolick, and second is by Wendy Morgan. Let's take a roll call, please.
Alderman Dolick,
Aye.
Alderman Morgan Adams,
Aye.
Alderman Quinn,
No.
Alderman Cameron.
Yes.
Motion passes 3-0. What is it? 3? I'm sorry. Motion passes 3-0 with 1 against. So out of the 4, 3 people have approved, and that's all that is necessary for approval. So thank you. Let's get Margie back on. Go ahead.
Okay, Mayor, I'm here. I just wanted to address the City Council, department heads, and citizens. I just wanted to say thank you. And it's been an honor and a privilege. So I will enjoy retirement, but I will miss my family at the police department. Thanks, and I will miss you all. And I hope you all know what a fantastic police department you have, because they are the best. And that's all.
All right, Margie, remember something and carry it, I trust, in a place that's meaningful to you. It is our honor to have had you do the job that you did. It's our privilege, the entire city, that has been overwhelmed sometimes about Margie. And I hear her name in a very positive way, no matter when it comes up. So thank you, and enjoy your retirement. Do things you wanted to do for years. Maybe this COVID thing will be over. You'll actually be able to travel, or have a meeting with your extended family. So good luck, and congratulations. That's a great job that you've had, and will be sorely missed.
Thank
All right,
you.
let's. Thank
If I
you.
could just say a quick word, Mr. Mayor, this is Alderman Dolick. I, too, wanted to just thank Margie Bulger for her years of service, and I just especially wanted to say it's been a joy working with you as a volunteer at the police department. That's a real treasure for me. So thank you for all of your service, and I wish you the very best in your retirement. Thank you.
Alderman Morgan Adam, I'd like to just also say ditto to Matt Dolick. Margie, you've done a great job. It's been a pleasure working with you for the time I've been on the council, and I really appreciate all that you've done. We're going to miss you, and we really want you to know we really did appreciate everything you've done. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Here, here. Way to go. Anyone else?
Well,
All
yeah,
right.
Mayor, can I just say, Margie, you've done a great job. Obviously, you can stop by anytime with cookies for the crew, but enjoy your retirement, but don't forget you are always welcome back. So I think if you drop in and volunteer, you will be more than welcome. And thank you so much for 25 years. It's pretty amazing.
Okay, I'll drop in with the cookies.
That's great, Margie. Thank you again. Moving on, Joe.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Item 4, public comment on agenda matters. And citizens are asked to identify the agenda item that they would like to address, and will be provided the opportunity to speak to that issue after its presentation. Madam Clerk, do we have anybody submitting requests to speak on agenda matters tonight?
Thank you, Joe. No, I don't have anyone officially, but that's okay. If there's anybody on the Zoom call, please step forward, announce yourself if you'd like to speak.
Thank you. And Mr. Mayor, that brings us to item 5, staff elected officials and commission reports. And beginning, we have Assistant Finance Director Bob Tannehill, and he did the staff work in getting our records together for the audit. The audit presentation will be by Chase Blazier from Eder Casella. That's our auditing firm. Bob, could you please introduce it?
Yeah, thank you, Joe. Mr. Mayor, city members of the City Council, I'd like to introduce Chase Blazer. He's a supervisor from Eder Casella and Company. He's here to present the City of Prospect Heights fiscal year-end 2020 audit report. And then after, when he's done presenting, if you have any questions, we'll try to answer them. And we also have copies. If you need them, just get a hold of me or email me after the meeting today. So Chase, it's all yours.
Awesome. Thanks, Bob. Good evening, everyone. As Bob said, I'm Chase Blazer. I was actually the in charge for the audit this year, so I was out there doing the field work and everything. And before we get started, I just wanted to give a huge thank you to Sherry, Bob, and the rest of the staff out there. They were a huge help getting this audit done. I know everything was difficult this year due to COVID. I mean, everything was, backed up, started getting in the office, a lot of that stuff. So I really appreciate all the help with that. If anyone has any questions during the presentation, feel free to hop in, interrupt whenever, we can address it. If it's something I don't know right off the top of my head, I will send an email back to you guys first thing tomorrow morning. All right, we can hop right into the financial statements. Before we get into the actual numbers, though, I just want to point out some of the wording, which is actually on the independent auditor's report, which is page 1 of the financial statements. It's really about 20 pages into the report, but that's when the actual page 1 pops up. And on there, we just, our goal of the audit is really to obtain reasonable assurance that the financial statements are free from any material misstatements. So there might be some immaterial small dollar amount misstatements in there, but our goal is just to find anything that would significantly affect the city for the audit. Overall, though, we did issue an unqualified opinion for the audit this year, which is the best opinion you can get. So that was great. And then the remaining financial statements are actually divided into about 5 different sections. And as you go further along in there, the information gets more and more detailed as you get your way to the back of the audit report. The first section is the management discussion and analysis. I believe that's page 4 through 15 in the audit report. This just summarizes and hits on some of the highlights of the year. This was actually Sherry wrote up this section for it. So if there's any questions on this, it would be better to direct them at Sherry. After that, the second and third sections of the financial statements actually get into some of the numbers here. If you can see, page 16 is where we start with the government-wide financial statements. And this focuses on the government as a whole, and it's more focused on a long-term outlook. So this statement of net position on page 16 of the audit report shows all the assets and liabilities of the city, including any long-term assets and liabilities like fixed assets, compensated absences, and debt. Going on, the next section from there is the fund financial statements, and this is what you guys are a little bit more used to seeing at the board meetings. It focuses on the individual funds, and on page, I believe this is page 18 of the audit report, you see we got the general fund on there, development fund, capital projects funds, et cetera, and then all the other non-major governmental funds are lumped into one column. And then on this balance sheet, the only difference between this compared to the government-wide financial statements is that there isn't any long-term assets or liabilities on these reports. One thing to point out on here is that the general fund does have a $11.6 million fund balance, and of that, just shy of $6 million is available for general use. The other $5.6 million or so has either been committed or restricted or is non-spendable for certain purposes that are detailed in the footnotes of the audit report. Going on from there, on page 20, we have the statement of revenues, expenditures, and changes in fund balances for the governmental funds. This just breaks out the revenue and expense by detail for all the major funds. One thing to point out on here again is that there was $2.1 million of net income for the year for FY20. This was mainly due to a $603,000 increase in the general fund and a $718,000 or so increase in the Palatine Milwaukee TIF fund. Going on from there, after this, you have the water, sewer, and parking. So the business type activities, financial statements, those are on pages 20 through 24. Just hit on some of the highlights. Overall, there's roughly a $154,000 increase. This was mainly due to the sewer fund jumping up, having a net income of the year of $660,000. And then after that, on pages 25 and 26, are the financial statements that are focused on the police pension fund. The next section is the footnotes, and this just provides more detail of what was actually in the statements that we quickly went through right there. There were no new footnotes compared to prior years. There's no new standards implemented in FY20, so all pretty same in that regard. And then the final fifth section is the management letter. There were two comments that we had to issue this year. Both were related to internal control of this of the city. The first one was to want to ensure a proper review of payroll to make sure that the correct amounts are getting paid throughout the year. We discussed this with management already, and they have already added additional procedures to address this issue. And then the second one was making sure that bank reconciliations and journal entries should be reviewed by someone else before posting and before they are completed. And management has also added additional procedures to address this as well. That's all I have. Just once again, a big thank you to Sherry and Bill and Sherry and Bob and everyone else for helping out with this. If there's any questions, feel free to let me know. You can shoot Bob an email and he'll get a hold of me. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Great report. And presumably we can carry forward this coming year, maybe at least in the same shape that we just went through. All right, Joe, we have staff elected officials and commissioner reports.
Yes, sir. Wherever you would like to start, Mr. Mayor.
Well, let's start with with the alderman and go from there. I'll take the roll on that. Michelle Cameron, any comments? Ward 1.
Hi, Mayor. I don't have anything, but I just wanted to let everybody know happy holidays because Christmas is right around the corner. So that's all I had to say. I hope everybody has a wonderful holiday. Thank you.
And you too. Michelle is a great asset to the city and has done a wonderful job. So let's move on to Kathleen Quinn.
Thank you, Mayor. I just wanted to say happy Hanukkah to everyone celebrating and Christmas coming up as well. I want to thank the staff for all their help every time we get calls from our constituents. They actually do the work. So thank you to the staff for making us look good in the community and keeping things running smoothly. We really appreciate you all.
Amen. All right, thank you. Moving on to Matt Dolick, Ward 5.
Thank you, Mayor. I have no report, but I also want to wish everyone a safe and happy holidays since this is our last meeting until the new year. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. And for Wendy Morgan Adams, Ward 3.
Yes, Mayor, thank you. I would like to ditto everybody's wish that everybody have a happy Hanukkah and a Merry Christmas, happy holiday season. And also, I want to ditto Alderman Quinn, that really wanted to thank the staff for all the hard work you do, for helping us with all our residents' calls, and for all your assistance. And it's been tremendous this year, and we really want to I want to say that with everything going on, you guys have done a fantastic job. Really appreciate all your help, all your assistance, and all your work. Thank you so much.
Great. And you, as the Alderman group, do a great job too. So it goes both ways.
Thank you, Mayor.
Let's move on to City Clerk, Joanna Pianiuk.
Thank you, Mayor. I actually have a very small report. The Wheeling Chamber had a Zoom meeting on December 9th to discuss the nomination of a new president and a vice president to the board. Current elections are going on to elect the named nominees, and all in all efforts are going forward to hopefully reestablish the chamber going forward into the new year. And that's about all I have. If I get more updates, I can email everyone. And on that note, yes, I'm wishing everyone a safe, warm, and blessed holidays, and I thank everyone who helps and works with us. Thank you to all.
Thank you. We've got City Treasurer Rich Tibbits.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'd like to also wish everyone happy holidays, and I'm looking forward to getting vaccinated in 2021. And that's all I have tonight.
Thank you. It's interesting you bring the vaccine. I had some time to stop at. Please mute your phone. I had time to stop at my doctor's office today, and he said, I can tell you a lot of things about the distribution of this whole process. But one thing I would like to see you tell your constituents and, of course, your staff and the aldermen, they, whoever they are, will be calling by phone and say, do you plan to take the shot, if you will, or not? Now, here's the trick. That's not a trick. Here's the situation. They will not hem, they will not haw, they will not give you opinions. They simply want a yes or a no. And it goes for both your wife, if you have one, of course, and your husband. Whoever answers the phone is empowered to speak for both of you. If not, I suppose you have a moment to pass the phone over to your spouse, and everything will be noted. If you do not have an immediate, and they stressed immediate, they got to call a lot of people, an immediate answer to the question, then they will move on and possibly recontact in a month, 2 or 3. So be ready with the answer, think it over, talk it over with your spouse, and see what you want to do. There are quite a few other things that they passed on to me, but that's the main one that I want to make sure you heard, and you probably will hear it again. So have an answer ready, make up your mind soon, if not immediately. Hard telling when we will get our dose, and hopefully it'll be a good event for all of us. So thank you for that. Joe, do you want to go through other officials? I think we've heard from them, so I think we're all right. Is that okay?
Oh, yes, sir, Mr. Mayor. Thank you. I'm going to ask Finance Director Sherry Grafin to start because we have some other good news on the financial front. Sherry, as you and the council know, worked very hard on the refinancing of the debt that the city held for the road bond from several years ago. And I'll turn it over to Sherry because she has some good news about that.
Thank you, Joe. Mr. Mayor, members of council, I do have a little Christmas present for us. We went out to market with our bond sale, approximately $5 million of bonds to be refunded through the marketplace. I wanted to say that when they went out for bid, we were expecting not so many bidders. Our bond counsel, Spear Financial, advised since we were in the month of December, we may have missed some bidders. Some deals had already closed, but pleasantly surprised, we had 7 bidders, and amongst those bidders, we managed 53 bids amongst the group. I'm pleased to say our initial estimates on our savings. Interest cost was about 200 to 250, and with our top bidder from Robert Baird and Company, our savings over the term of the refunded bonds will be about $376,000. We did not push out the bonds. They're going to mature at the same time as the original bonds in 2026. December 15th, 2026 will be fully paid. Our old total debt service was about 5.3 million, and with these refunded bonds now we're looking at 4.9. So really nice chunk of change there that we were able to save. The president of Spear Financial, our bond advisor, wanted me to say, given these difficult times, the rating affirmation speaks to the excellent financial management of the city. Administrator Wade and myself had a bond rating call with Moody's prior to the auction and talked through our capital improvement plan, our current status, and our procedures and thought process surrounding the COVID restrictions and our revenue streams going forward. And Dan Forbes at Spear said it was a solid call, and we were affirmed at our old bond rating, AA3. So that carried right into the marketplace and into the auction, and we managed to be a very attractive offer to the market. So that's all I had. I just wanted to pass along that great news, especially in these hard times. We were able to come through with a nice savings for the city going forward. If anybody has any questions, I'm happy to answer. Otherwise, everyone have a happy holiday, and I wish you a good season. Thank you.
Thank you. That's a great report, because money is always the end all and be all in any kind of business, and we're doing well. And that's the thing that should be put out amongst your friends, neighbors, etc. The city of Prospect is not only solid, they're much better off carrying reserve funds and having the fortune of being rated highly in the bond rating program. So this is a good thing, and I'm sure it'll continue. We've had some hard times, there's no question about it, but we're there, we're doing well, and hopefully this thing is gone, this big thing. What did the president call it? I forgot. Will be gone by the end of 2002. So, God willing, let's move forward. What else we have, Joe?
Mr. Mayor, we have, as you're aware, two of our fine department directors underwent surgery this last week. Jim Zalaki for a hip, and this last week or two, Jim Zalaki for his hip, and Dan Peterson for his knee. Both of them are recuperating, but they're on the call tonight, so I'll start with Chief Zalaki.
I have nothing other than the retirement of Margie, and I'm doing well. Everything's coming along as planned, and hopefully I'll be back in the office sometime soon. Other than that, wish everybody happy holidays. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Jim.
Dan Peterson?
Thank you, Joe, Mayor, Council. Recovery's going well. I will be back in the office on Monday, so things are progressing wonderfully. While in my absence, I do want to give thanks to my staff and the rest of the staff at City Hall for filling in a time of shorthandedness. It shows how well we as a team, a city, work together and support each other, which support you guys. And I look forward to good things in 2020 and wish you all a very Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, and a great New Year. That's all I have.
Thank you.
Public Works Director Mark Roscoe.
All right.
Good evening, sir. Quick report. We're on task with having our fleet and our buildings prepared for the next season. Our water system, we've been doing quite a bit of maintenance lately, and our IEPA and all of our requirements were being met, so we'll end the year right where we need to be with all the water regulatory issues. And I also want to congratulate Margie. She's an outstanding person and a great, just a great person in general. So congratulations to her on her retirement. Thank you, sir. That's all I have.
Deputy Clerk Karen Schulteis.
Hi, thank you, Joe. Just one thing, and I guess everybody's kind of acknowledging it. We don't have a second meeting in December. The next meeting will be January 11th, 2021. Happy holidays, everyone.
That's some good news. Thank you.
Assistant Administrator Peter Falcone.
Thank you, Administrator Wade. No official report, but I wanted to echo everyone's comments. Congratulations to Margie, and happy holidays, everybody.
Thank you.
And I will ditto that, Mayor. Happy holidays to all, and thank you, Margie. Likewise, it has been a pleasure to work with you, and we wish you all the best in your retirement. And again, please don't be a stranger. And those are the staff reports, Mr. Mayor.
All right, what's next?
We move to the consent agenda, item 6. Much of these Sherry Grafin explained at the last meeting about our tax levy ordinances and the compliance with the Truth in Taxation Act. If there are any questions, certainly we can go over it, but we have listed them all together since its second reading. And as well, we also have a resolution and an agreement.
All right, and this is a consent agenda, so I think we can call for the roll. Is that correct, Mr. Attorney?
Upon a motion and a second, agreed, we'd need a roll call.
All right. Let's have a motion, please.
So I so moved for the entire consent agenda to go ahead and vote.
Second.
We have a motion, we have a second. Let's take a roll call, please.
Alderman Dolick,
Aye.
Alderman Morgan Adams,
Aye.
Alderman Quinn,
Aye.
Alderman Cameron.
Aye.
Motion passes 4-0. Joe, back to you.
No items of old business, sir. For new business, item 8A and 8B are related. First of all, we're asking a request of waiver since it's a month since our next meeting. But the ordinance involves our liquor code. It comes from a request for council consideration from one of our restaurant owners, Mr. George Sellis from Rocky's American Grill. We understand that there may be other restaurant owners on the call tonight, possibly from Players or other of our fine restaurants. The request is that, as everyone is aware, our restaurants are really having a tough time with COVID. It is a very it's been very detrimental to our restaurant businesses. The closures for COVID-19 health and safety reasons. So what is proposed is the possibility of expanding their pouring licenses to involve accessory carryout. Certainly, as a small portion of the business, I think the ordinance listed as it would only involve 5% or less of their floor space. These businesses are not wanting to become package license holders in the sense of some of the other establishments such as Tony's or other liquor stores in town, but they would like the opportunity to sell packaged liquors that would really support the restaurant part of their business, either as a carry-out or a take-home type sale. I'm just setting it up. Mr. Sellis, I believe, is on the call. He can probably do a better job than I can as to how this might help their businesses. But that is the reason why this is proposed for council consideration, with also additionally with the waiver of first reading.
All right, George, are you available?
Yes, I am, Mr. Mayor. Mr. Mayor, City Council, Chief Zalaki, thank you for accepting us in this call. I'm calling on behalf of Rocky Vanders, Union Ale House, and Players Pub and Grill. We have been working together, the three restaurants have been working together to try to make our revenues and different ideas that we could come together to raise our revenues. We do see a lot of carry-out businesses gone through the roof, of course, since March. We are looking at things that could increase our sales. We do have requests for packaged goods to go. With this license, if the city accepts it, would lower our purchasing price from the vendors, which would allow us to combine, for example, like a pizza and a six-pack of beer or family packs. As far as for the customer, it would be more of a one-stop shopping when they go out. They could pull up to the curb. We could run it out to the curb, or they could pick up. Either way, it will help in the cost of the product for us to purchase with those licenses, and at the same time, it would allow us to be competitive with pricing to compete with other businesses, other restaurants in the neighborhood, not in our neighborhood, but in other surrounding cities. So I think the question here is, how would we go about to do this if the city would consider it? And like you said, it would be less than 5%. We're not looking to set up coolers and rows of liquor. We're more or less going to give like a smaller option of 3 or 4 different options. So, and it would not be on display for people to walk in and pull them out of coolers like liquor stores or like the grocery stores. I don't know how else to describe it. I know that our cost would be a lot cheaper. When you go to a liquor store, you purchase a case of beer. They purchase it at a cheaper price because they buy it as a case and sell it as a case, or as a six-pack and sell it as a six-pack. Unfortunately, restaurants and bars, taxes, I don't know how they do it, but the price is a little bit more expensive because we are buying a six-pack of beer and selling them as individual beers. So the license can help. It will help with pricing. Any questions? I don't know what else I could say. I know that players, my brother at Union and myself have talked about it, and we think this could be something that would help our revenue, and hopefully it will make some sales go up.
And Joe, we've spoken about an additional letter behind the actual what am I trying to say? Liquor licenses have a designation. We want to add possibly like a P for whatever to make this possible. As it's pointed out, we are suggesting packaged goods, maybe a 6-pack or a 12-pack, along with a portion that would be like a pizza or anything else to enhance the ability to buy a package. And they don't have that ability now. All they have is a liquor license to hold, goods as a bottle of beer, as a rum and coke, and that kind of stuff. We want to tag this with an additional designation of the current liquor, which, hold on a second, which would be at risk if the main liquor license is not handled correctly, or if the addition of this sales program is not handled directly. In other words, we can rescind that whole thing. Now, Joe, you're working with who on that whole thing? I saw some paperwork.
Oh, yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. And a couple points of distinction. As part of the earlier on, as part of the directives from the state, the State Liquor Commission is offering this ability of liquor license holders during this COVID emergency period. However, as Mr. Sellis pointed out, since it isn't a specific license, it's certainly my understanding that the pricing structure of what they purchase for is different. So if they had a package license, they could purchase alcohol at a more competitive price for carryout sales. And as you mentioned, Mr. Mayor, this would be only for restaurants. It would be supplemental to their existing license, and certainly all the other provisions that they operate under about not sale to minors and so forth. That continues. I reviewed this with Chief Zalaki. He did not have any issues with it. And also I want to stress too, we did some research on this. We modeled this after an ordinance that's in a neighboring community, and other communities do have this for certain establishments. For example, if you went in, possibly Lola's, you could go in and pick up a pizza and sandwiches, and you might want to, just out of convenience, to carry out a 6 or 12 pack of beer with it or so. So that's what we're trying to do. And as Mr. Sellis said, this also enables them to market their products. Maybe it's a wing special, a bucket of wings and a 6-pack for such and such price, or pizza or any other carry-out foods. And I think we're all looking, the city, the restaurants, we're all looking for ways to help them and get them through a very, very difficult period.
Mayor?
Yes, ma'am, go ahead.
Can I ask a question? Yeah, I think it's a great idea. I think it's unfortunate we didn't even start it earlier, because I know it's one of the things that's keeping a lot of restaurants afloat right now, especially as we get into cold weather. My question is, would it also include mixed drinks? Because other mixed municipalities are allowing someone who's going in and buying, say, a dinner to also take out cocktails, which are a higher price point. You know, they're in a cup and sealed. It's not like a bottle of alcohol, but they're able to buy a mixed alcohol drink. It's $10, and you add a couple of those to an order, and it changes that ticket price. So that's the first thing. My first question, maybe it's for Joe. Would it include mixed drinks? Because I know some of these restaurants have full bars, so why not? Why just limit it to beer and wine? My other question is, would part of that be that if they were not following the state mandated phases, like right now we're in phase 3, if people aren't following those restaurant phases, would we be able to rescind it? Because if we're going to give people the exceptions so they could make more money, we want to make sure they're also following all the other rules. Is that part of this?
Well, Joe, this is exactly part of it. What I'm reminded of, a number of years ago, they had something called a growler. A growler was kind of a big cup, or I think a cup maybe holds 2 cans of beer, and it goes out sealed. It doesn't can't go down on the corner and drink it. If you do, we have the method of coming to terms with people that do that. We have the ability to rescind either the entire liquor license, which would then rescind the additional tag along, or just rescind the tag along. Joe, you have any comments on that?
Those are very good questions. The question regarding the mixed drinks, certainly that is provided for in the state temporary emergency declaration. We didn't contemplate that, adding that into the license. Certainly we could. It would be just an addition of a little bit more language.
I think we should, because I know George's Restaurants, and you know, I know myself and my friends would be more inclined to get a mixed drink to go with a dinner as opposed to beer, which we might have at home. It might be more fun, right? So why not?
It's a very good point.
There has been for a long time, I'm not sure it's still in effect, where you can buy a mixed drink sealed and provide it to the customer.
Well, it's sealed in a cup. I know, I can only speak for a neighboring community that I'm aware of. The restaurants are making the mixed drinks, they're putting them in to-go cups, and that's how they're going out with the meal.
Well, I've seen the sealed glasses, probably, you know, some kind of sealer that you could buy one at a time. It's basically the same thing, but it doesn't matter how. It's whether we're willing to help these people along. And that might be one area that will produce income, maybe very little, but nevertheless an additional income.
Well, if that's a very good point, and if you would like to advance that, if we could just add that into the motion, and we can work that out with the city attorney as well, as far as the legal language to include a mixed drink. Certainly that can be done.
Could I suggest something?
Yeah.
Can I suggest that perhaps we pass the motion and the ordinance change as is, and then at the next meeting we add in the necessary details for the liquor stuff?
But that's going to go right through the holidays. And if we pass this tonight, wouldn't they be able to start this tomorrow? Or no?
Yes. That is what is proposed through the waiver of the second reading.
Yeah.
And for two reasons, they're really struggling. That's the primary reason. The other part is, absent COVID, this would be a busy time for restaurants.
Yeah.
So the holiday season coming up, it won't be at their restaurants, but maybe there'll be an uptick in their carryout business.
Joe, Mayor, may I? This is Director Peterson.
Yes, go ahead.
Alderman Quinn, to your question about the cocktails to go, as this is already contemplated as part of the governor's executive order, and our establishments can do this currently under certain rules and procedures they have to follow, I don't think it would impact them to provide mixed cocktails at this point in time, while it gives us a chance to look at the law and amend it on a more permanent basis at our next meeting. I think in researching the topic and talking with George and a couple of others, the big issue comes in their beer sales, because they're being charged, like George explained earlier, on a per bottle basis versus a 6-pack or a 12-pack lot, and so therefore the cost factor goes up for them to that. So I think the ordinance, as it's put out in front of us, addresses their need and still provides customers an alternative under the governor's order to get mixed drinks at this current time. I hope that puts some clarity to your question.
Yeah. And then with this packaged goods, is this a COVID-related situation, or is this going to be a permanent change?
It's proposed as a permanent change.
Well, addition to the existing permit. And that would be a secondary charge, but we're thinking around the $10 line. Some of these people are paying $4,000 for a liquor license. We can't do that. We won't do that. But I think we should pass it now and let it fall out as we go. We think we already have the solution, as Dan pointed out. Why not put it in now? A long time between January and December.
Yeah.
Get it in. Get it in. Nobody, I don't think, we can hear from the other aldermen, but there's nothing to be against here. This is not some trick to sell, whatever. So I think it should be right. And why make, there are people that won't know this or understand it, and they'll be knocking on our door. And we've had it already where people say, well, you know what these guys are doing. They have this and they have that, and that's against the law. Well, let's do this as a law. Leave it with maybe a waiver of the first reading and move forward. We react too slow. This isn't a business issue. This is just a be nice issue.
I think that's what I said. Thank you.
Thank you.
So, Mayor, I would like to make a motion then that we waive the first reading and go into a second reading and have an ability to vote on this tonight.
Yes.
Second that.
With some of the other things that were noted. John, you'll have to draw it up. We have a motion, we have a second. Further discussion, please. Anybody?
So we have to vote first on waiving the first reading?
Correct.
Okay.
Yes. John, anything to add?
That's fine. A roll call vote would be in order, Mayor.
All right, let's move to a roll call vote.
Alderman Dolick,
Aye.
Alderman Morgan Adams,
Aye.
Alderman Cameron,
Aye.
Alderman Quinn.
Aye.
Thank you. Motion passes 4-0. Our attorney will craft it as far as the reading of the motion that can be done or will be done. And George, pass that out to the people. You see, if more people come in on this, that's not bad. Somebody says, oh, somebody else wants this and this. That's not bad. That's more income for the merchant. It's slightly more income for us, too. So this is not a bad thing in any shape or form.
It definitely can't hurt us. And I'd like to thank Mr. Mayor, City Council, Chief Zalaki, and everyone else on the call. We do appreciate it. I will definitely call John at Players and pass the word to my brother as well. Thank you so much. We look forward to 2021 and hope everyone has a healthy, safe holidays.
Thank you.
You too.
Do we still need a motion to approve the measure? That was only the first waiver of first reading.
Right.
Correct.
Can I make a motion to? Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I'm sorry, Alderman Dolick. When the motion is made, could it be subject to attorney review so that I can tweak it?
Yes, do it that way. Then we can blame you if it's wrong.
Then I would like to make the motion to approve item 8B, subject to attorney's approval.
Second.
We have a motion, we have a second, so let's add the roll call, please.
Alderman Morgan Adams,
Aye.
Alderman Dolick,
Aye.
Alderman Quinn,
Aye.
Alderman Cameron.
Aye.
It passes 4-0. John, is there anything else we should contemplate with having waived the first reading and now having passed the real reading?
I'll work with Joe and yourself to get the language tweaked.
Yeah, thank you. All right, Joe. Good job. Thank you. What else do you have, Joe?
Okay, that brings us to items C, D, and E, and they're all related. Just to provide a little bit of background information, this goes back to council approved roughly about a year ago. I think it was last January that the city review an area plan and an eligibility report for a possible TIF area, tax increment financing area, that would encompass the Jolly Funhouse Academy, which is the site of the Lexington townhome development. which the developers advise that there'll be some extraneous project costs in order to do that, specifically water supply and some other areas that will require TIF assistance. The city has mapped the proposed tax increment financing district, we think, as surgically as possible to enable public improvements such as stormwater management and sidewalk infrastructure in the area. So in the report that you have, you'll notice that it encompasses a strip of Drake Avenue up north to Eleanor, and then a little bit along Drake Terrace. We didn't take in the whole neighborhood. We really tried to do it as minimal as possible. And certainly Muir Park is also included. Going back to last year, we had discussed the possibility of using tax increment financing proceeds to assist the park district with the rehabilitation of that park, certain improvements that would qualify. So that's the area plan and the eligibility report that's presented. With it, there are 3 actions tonight: the resolution establishing an interested parties registry. This is for people to register for information with the city. This follows state law. A resolution establishing a joint review board of the taxing districts that are impacted. Certainly the largest generator of TIF revenue, if this is approved, would be from the former Jolly Funhouse Academy site. And the reason being is that presently has 0 equalized assessed valuation. So it would be the increment that comes from that would provide for the public improvements such as stormwater management infrastructure, as well as area sidewalks, and then also the improvements to Muir Park. And then the final resolution is setting a time and place for a public hearing. The proposed public hearing would be, I think we have a date on that of February 8th, I believe. So there are a number of steps. None of these are related to an adoption of the TIF. It's all prerequisites that are necessary by statute for the city to consider the adoption of a TIF at a later time, most likely probably March or later. So that's what's proposed tonight. We worked on this quite a bit with the City Attorney John O'Driscoll, as well as Community Development Director Dan Peterson. John, Dan, if there's anything that I've missed that you'd like to add, please do. And I'll also ask Madam Clerk if anybody has registered to speak to this issue, just to make sure we're covered with that. And at that, we can start with the next item in sequence, which is the resolution authorizing the establishment of an interested parties registry and adopting the rules for such.
Yeah, again, I don't have anyone registered, Joe. So if there's anyone in the audience, please announce yourselves. Please step up at this time. Thank you. Looks like no one, we don't have anyone.
Okay. And if there are not, is there any questions or discussion from the council?
I have a question, Joe. The memo and resolution authorizing the establishment of interested parties registry, what does that mean?
Well, by state law, there are requirements of city governments as to how they communicate information about the TIF. And this basically sets the process and ground rules for that. The resolution as itself was drafted by City Attorney Driscoll. So, John, if there's anything you want to add to that.
Yeah, it's just basically setting up the ability for people who are interested in keeping up with developments, they can send their contact information.
Okay.
It's a kind of a public information or public information or transparency
Okay. Thank you.
resolution.
All right, are we calling for a motion?
Yes, sir.
I'll make a motion to approve item 8C to adopt the resolution authorizing the establishment of interested parties registry and adopting rules for such registry for redevelopment projects, area Prospect Point / Muir Park in the city of Prospect Heights.
Second.
We have a motion, we have a second. Any further points to be made by anyone? And if not, let's have a roll call, please.
Alderman Dolick,
Aye.
Alderman Morgan Adams,
Aye.
Alderman Cameron,
Aye.
Alderman Quinn.
Aye.
4-0. Joe, back to you.
And the next item, D, is also a prerequisite, and it also follows state law. It's a resolution convening a joint review board to review the public record and planning documents relating to the proposed Prospect Point Muir Park TIF. The joint review board consists of all area taxing agencies. So, for example, both the elementary and high school districts, the library district, fire district, park district, as well as there's a representative of Cook County. The joint review boards have their first job is to review the proposal. And this part of this resolution is that we'd be working toward a meeting probably that first week of January to review the proposal with that body as a group. The resolution that's before you tonight also provides for, following state law, that there be two appointed members of the Joint Review Board from the city. One is myself, as the city administrator, kind of coordinates all this information and tries to maintain a conduit of information about the proposed TIF to the districts. And the other one is, by state statute, is a citizen member. And the gentleman that's proposed tonight is a former city clerk. He's familiar with TIFs. He had been with the city before. He's also one of our airport board members, and that's Mr. Bill Kearns. But at any rate, that's what the Joint Review Board is established for. Initially, there's a responsibility to review the proposal, make a recommendation to the council. Should the TIF be adopted, that review board continues, and it's also an oversight mechanism for the other taxing districts that we, the city, report to on an annual basis and provide information, progress reports, updates, if there's any changes, things like that. So that's proposed tonight. John, Dan, is there anything else that you would like to add, as this was a joint effort?
Not at this time.
I have a question. This is Michelle. You mentioned, Joe, that you'll be part of this board, and then Bill Kearns. And I really don't feel comfortable with a public official being on this committee, because it should be a resident of Prospect Heights and not a city official. I know he's a resident, but I think it needs to be someone as a resident and not a city official.
Who are you talking about? What public official is that he's a public official?
Yeah, for the airport board.
I don't think that, this is Morgan Adams, I don't see any conflict of interest with that. I don't see, he's a resident, he's got a lot of knowledge and understanding of TIFs, he used to be on the city council. I don't see any conflict of interest if we want somebody who has that kind of skill and knowledge to be part of this joint review board. So I don't see any problem with that.
And frankly, neither do I. Joe, do I need to appoint, do I need to recommend someone for this job?
It's crafted into the resolution. I'll ask the city attorney to offer information about this.
Yeah, I mean, it's part of the resolution. We would prefer it be put in this evening.
All right. Good. What do we do next? Get a motion to do that, or to approve the whole thing, or what?
Correct. You'd need a motion to approve R20, 8D.
I'll make the motion to approve item 8D.
I'll second it, Morgan Adams.
All right, we have a motion, we have a second. Further discussion? There being none, roll call, please.
Alderman Morgan Adams.
Aye.
Alderman Jolick.
Aye.
Alderman Quinn.
Aye.
Alderman Cameron.
No.
All right, so it's 3, 4, and 1 against. The majority holds, and so the motion passes. All right,
And yes, sir. And finally, item 8E is a resolution fixing a time and place for the public hearing of this proposed Prospect Point Muir Park redevelopment plan project, tax increment financing district. We've proposed, rather than try to do it at a regular council meeting, we thought it'd be worthwhile to do it on a separate evening. We know there's been a lot of public interest in this, and it offers its own time and place. So what's proposed is, I don't have the calendar in front of me, but I think it's Tuesday, February 9th at 6:30 p.m., as I recall.
Mr.
Or Wednesday. Right, Wednesday. Wednesday the 10th.
All right, so are we to approve that date, or what?
Yeah. Yes, sir. It's a formal resolution, and importantly, we really work for compliance with this. We chose that date because there's also public notification processes that have to be met. So this would be the preferred date.
All right, can we get a motion to that effect, please?
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion, Morgan Adams, second, Alderman Dolick. Any other input?
Just have a question. Does this have any crossover into the meeting that is scheduled for January 7th regarding the proposed TIF district meeting? It's on page 118 of the packet. So within that document, it says that the JRB for the proposed TIF district shall meet on January 7th. Is this?
They are related, but they're on separate tracks. That's why we started the joint review board process earlier to at least convene a meeting, because they might require additional information. So they're certainly related to the same subject, but they're they're different venues and they're working along a little bit different time frame.
So will the January 7th meeting at 2 p.m., the Zoom conference, be open to the public?
Yes.
Okay, and then we'll announce that we have enough time to announce that publicly?
Oh, right, yes.
Okay.
Yeah. And that, you know, there'll be notices going out, I think, this week about that. In fact, actually, I've contacted all of our local fire, park, school, both school districts, library, so they're all already aware of that date.
Okay, thank you.
All right, roll call, please.
Alderman Dolick,
Aye.
Alderman Morgan Adams,
Aye.
Alderman Cameron,
Peter, I think she's blocked out. She's trying to get back in.
Alderman Cameron.
I let her back in, so I think she's in.
Okay. Okay. Alderman Cameron. Let's get back to her. Alderman Quinn.
Yes.
Alderman Cameron.
Hi, I'm sorry, I just got back on.
Okay, all right, thank you.
So we have a motion on the floor. It was seconded, and this is now the roll call phase of it.
Is that for E?
Yes. That was E
Okay.
that we just voted
Okay,
on.
yes. Yes.
All right, the motion passes 4-0. What's next?
Administrator Wade, you're muted.
I'm sorry. Thank you, Peter. We do not have discussion topics. Brings us to item 10, approval of warrants. And Madam Clerk.
Okay, thank you. Our total expenditures amounted to $405,388.59. Wire payments on November 20th, 2020 payroll posting was $161,667.76. Payroll posting on December 4th, 2020 amounted to $157,843.37. And the November Illinois Municipal Retirement Fund was $23,357.35, bringing the total warrant amount to $748,257.07 for our council's approval, please.
Thank you. Motion to approve as presented.
Motion to approve.
Second, Cameron.
We have a motion, Quinn, second, Cameron. Roll call, please.
Alderman Morgan Adams.
Aye.
Alderman Dolick.
Aye.
Alderman Quinn.
Aye.
Alderman Cameron.
Aye.
Motion passes 4-0. Back to you, Joe.
Thank you. We are at item 11, public comment on non-agenda matters. Has anything been received?
No, I have not received, but if I may speak, may I? Or anyone else, if anyone's available before I may speak?
All right, but we had your name listed for that purpose, but go ahead.
I just wanted also to thank Margie for all her work, for all her just superb work. I have had so much help from her over the years every time I approached that window. So Margie, I forgot to spin my 2 cents here too for you. So I wanted to take this opportunity to also wish you a very happy retirement. And please don't be a stranger and visit us as well. Thank you so much, dear.
She gets more praise than anybody, as she should. Thank you for that. Motion to adjourn, please.
So moved.
Second.
We approved the warrants. I'm sorry, I got to back up.
Yes, we do.
Okay. So this was outside of the warrant thing that was just said by city clerk. So we have a motion. We have a second. to approve the warrants as presented. And we'll go for a roll call, please.
Alderman Morgan Adams,
Aye.
Alderman Dolick,
Aye.
Alderman Cameron,
Aye.
Alderman Quinn.
Aye.
Motion is approved 4-0. Thank you for your evening.